A heart-wrenching tale of Satan's priests. In the end you will be shocked. If you like the story, then subscribe our channel. And like the video. And be sure to express your opinion in the comment section. Everything around him was diffusing into a blur. He blinked his eyes several times and tried focusing on anything that could keep him awake. Her head was throbbing with pain and he could feel the blood gushing out of the back of his head. He was lying on a stretcher and his mother seemed panicked about his condition by the kind of things she was muttering. "You'll be fine, love," she said, kissing his forehead. "The doctor is going to look after you. Please be with me." "Yes, I will be fine," he wanted to assure her mother, but couldn't speak. It was worse than he had imagined. He couldn't speak. The accident had probably done more damage than he had assumed. "We will take it from here," the nurses said, grabbing the iron rod of the stretcher. "But I'm his mother," Jessica cried. "Trust us, we will take good care of him," one of them assured. "Besides, we need to admit you as well," one of them said. Before Jessica could say anything, one of the nurses had taken her son to the operation room. "I'm Helena. Come, I'll take you to another ward. The doctor shall be arriving any time now. He'll look after your child. We need to patch you up, you have lost a lot of blood," she said, examining her wounds. Jessica looked around her as she walked with Helena. It was her own fault, she thought. Joseph wanted her to drive in a blazing fast speed. "Let us fly, Mom. I want to fly," he would scream every time they hit the road. It was just another one of their weekend drives, only it was raining heavily. However, that had made it much more exciting. With their windows open, they were literally enjoying the drive before she found another car approaching from the opposite direction. While trying to sway away from the way, she had lost the balance on wheel and their car had gone off-road, colliding with a tree. The driver of the other car was, however, a local person who was really helpful and had brought them to a nearby hospital. Helena took Jessica to a ward and made her lie down. Jessica looked around her. The paint on the walls was peeling off. Her skin burned as Helena started cleaning her wounds. The sheets were dirty and it felt nobody bothered to clean them up in years. "I guess you don't receive many patients here?" she asked Helena rhetorically. "This deep in the woods? I never expected much. Most of the people who are admitted here are usually passing by through the highway, just like you," she said, preparing for the stitches. "I don't know what would have happened if it wasn't for Jonah. You know him?" "Yes, he lives nearby. Most of his nights are spent drunk driving. He has been in an accident a handful of times and I have stitched him up myself numerous times. It doesn't make him stop, seems to have a knack for it." Jessica just nodded. "Here. This syringe is going to relieve your pain," Helena said, inserting the needle in Jessica's arm. "Doctor is here," Martha said from outside the door, startling Jessica. "We are preparing for the operation. Your presence is required." "I'm sorry. I'll have to leave. We are running short on our staff these days." "I believe you understand the reason very well," Helena spoke before getting up. "Will Joseph be fine?" Jessica demanded, getting up on her feet, but she felt dizzy. "Please relax. We are going to take good care of him. I have given you a mild sedative that is making you feel dizzy," Helena explained. She made her lie on the bed and went outside. Jessica was mumbling as her consciousness was fading. "This was easier than the last time," Helena said to Martha, taking off her nurse outfit. "How is the preparation?" "The kid turns 6 tomorrow, so we are waiting until the midnight. He will be a perfect sacrifice once he completes 6 years. It's 6th of June tomorrow. Imagine the number 666. It seems that the deity himself has sent this child to us. He needed special preparation, Martha replied. Both of them were now stripped down to bare minimum. They took out their black hooded cloaks from their respective lockers and wore them before entering the operation theater. The room was lit with hundreds of candles. A giant Baphomet star was drawn at the center of the room and Joseph's body was kept in the middle of it. Jonah was already present inside the room wearing his own cloak along with 3 other members of the cult. He was the one who led the cult. They have been practicing it for 5 years now. Every 6th day of the month, they would trick a car passing through the highway and bring the victim to the hospital only to sacrifice them to the angel of darkness. They worshipped Satan and the sacrifices were supposed to please the fallen angel. Jonah initiated the ritual of sacrifice with chants. Everyone followed him and began chanting. The room was filled with the eerie hymns and the flames of the candles danced along. Joseph's body stirred. He tried sitting up, but several of his bones were broken in the accident. He could hardly make any movement but the cult members noticed it. "I thought you had sedated him," one of the members said. "I had," justified Jonah. "How the fuck is he moving then?" Helena exclaimed. "Let's calm down, people. He can hardly move with all the broken bones in his body." "Let's continue with the ritual," Martha said. They began walking in circles and hymning an ode to the Satan. Before they could even complete a circle, Joseph screamed. "Stop," he said. Ignoring him, they continued. The floor rumbled, taking them by surprise. They halted their steps as Joseph's body started shaking. With crackling sound, the joint in his bones started snapping together and before they could even react to what was happening in front of their naked eyes, Joseph was standing on his feet. He lifted up his face as the candles blew off. What they saw was the scariest experience they had ever been through. 2 eyes burning red with rage was all that was visible in the room now. "I asked you to stop." The voice coming out of Joseph's throat shook the entire building. He lifted his hand up in the air and clutched thin air. The cult members found their throats being strangled. As they struggled for breath, he laughed manically. "I had claimed this body 6 years ago when he was born. It is all I need to rule the earth. You are too puny to care about, everything will be mine soon," he said before continuing his laughter that roared through the building,